Alright, I think it's officially time for me to put as many theories and as many wishes or videos, I guess, talking about this game. For some reason, most of my focus has now shifted into Resident Evil 9 because personally, I don't want the next game to be a remake. I want the next RE game to be a new mainline title with a new story and possibly returning characters that have been a part of this franchise for so long. In today's video, I am going to be casing why and how each character can appear in Resident Evil 9. This is mostly going to consist of the main four, and I might as well include Ada into this list. But before we get into it, I want to address the elephant in the room really quick. I 100% don't believe Resident Evil 9 will be taking place around the events of the Shadows of Rose DLC, which, in case you guys are wondering, that is in 2037. If Capcom did decide to make the next mainline game in that era, or let's say the late 2030s I should say, it would bring more questions than answers for every character that has existed in the RE universe, and it would leave us confused, and I'm sure Capcom won't do that. With Ethan's death now passed by us and the Winters family story pretty much being concluded, we are all wondering what is next, and the vast majority of RE fans are saying it is going to continue right off of the events of RE Village, and begin with a new story that has some involvements with RE8. Of course, I'm talking about the big cliffhanger that is the rogue BSAA using BOWs, which is what they swore to fight against, which got our first candidate to be the main protagonist, Chris Redfield, pissed off and demanded to go to headquarters. Now this game has him almost front and center, and honestly, it does make sense if this is what the plot is going to be. We can't just ignore the fact that he is one half of the founders of the BSAA, and if they are basically turning evil, he's going to be involved in these events no matter what. As for the Howell Squad, I'm gonna be honest, please just sideline them. Have them do their own little side mission off screen to keep them busy because not much people realistically care about them. I'm probably going to be getting a few comments saying that, oh, I care about the Howell Squad just to piss me off, but you know what, I'm prepared for it. But aside from that, I want to talk about the other founder of the BSA that most of the RE fans have missed for a very long time, and that's Jill Valentine. The fan request of her to come back in the mainline game has been going crazy. We got a small taste of it in Resident Evil Death Island, and in interviews, her slow aging is going to be a part of her story, which gives us bigger confirmation that she will be in future games, and it's only a matter of when. And I feel like RE9, especially if the plot will be about the BSAA, will be perfect for her to return and his years out of rehab. As for her story, whatever Capcom is cooking up, I hope it's good. These characters have practically already been developed, but Jill, I do believe that there is some still development that she needs to do, especially with the new trauma that she's dealing with. So I'm just waiting for her return mostly, just like everyone else. Now for the last two, and I might quickly address Ada, these are a little bit of wild cards, but this character I'm talking about right now can fit extremely well if the circumstances are right, and I'm talking about Claire. The villain for Resident Evil 9 is more up in the air, and this particular villain will make a lot of sense if Claire is in the game, and it's Natalia or Alex Wesker. Alex herself could have motives to invade the BSAA and take over, but if it's just her and not bringing in people like Moira and Barry, it brings more questions than answers if anything. But for Claire's sake, let me elaborate. Claire was the one who shot and killed Alex with the help of Barry. With her taking over the BSAA possibly, Claire could be brought in to help her older brother for the first time in a video game since Code Veronica, or essentially teaming up together. Also, aside from Resident Evil 2 Remake, Claire has been treated weirdly or just unfairly, to the point where it's like, does Capcom even care about her? In Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which is probably the most forgettable CGI project Capcom has made, she was a side character to the main side character. In Death Island, it felt like she was just there and didn't do much for the plot. We only got the news of her being in the movie just before the official trailer dropped. I feel like if she was an integral part to RE9, it could do her character some good justice after the recent years she has been treated with. And I heard the rumors of her getting killed off to the point where I just don't believe it at all. I know I made a video a month ago talking about killing off characters, but if they bring her in this game to just do that, it would be insane. I feel like if that did happen, she would have to have the most or second most important role in the story. Now, Leon to me is the biggest wild card in this entire discussion. I don't know where he could fit into the story at all. Now, of course, it all depends on the plot and the main villain. Most of the potential candidates don't really have a deep connection with Leon. And the most recent villain that did, Maria Gomez, just died from the hands of Leon. So his story is really like, what is next for him? I don't think this dude will randomly be in Europe and around the BSAA at all. I still think he will be in the States, and I'm gonna be real with y'all here. I'm really getting tired of seeing Leon in these remakes, man, because I want him to be in a new mainline game. I want something new with this story rather than reimaginings of it. Funny enough, I actually think Leon perfectly fits in the Resident Evil Revelations 3 arc of characters, but it seems like Capcom has just abandoned the spin-off games and made remakes the priority over them. The only way I can see him being RE9 is if the plot is completely different and he's on his own with a new story. Pretty much something like RE4 but with different twists, I guess. I really don't know if Chris will call over Leon to help him, since I think he'll have Jill and would probably choose his sister, but then again, I'll briefly cap it off with Ada. I don't see her role in this game at all. Like, literally. She fits with Revelations 3 just like Leon, and I understand why Capcom cut her out of RE8. It sure as hell would have been cool to see her again, but she just did not fit Ethan's story at all. She doesn't fit Jill's, Chris's, or Claire's story, and probably only Leon's. Don't get me wrong, she has enough star power to be in her own game, it's just, you know, there's not much connection with any of the main characters other than Leon. I wouldn't mind if she was the star of the main game and Leon was a side character to her, but then again, they could just fit Ada with, you know, the other characters that I mentioned, who knows. And to talk about the dynamic of Leon and Ada in a Revelations 3 game, if she's the star and Leon's the side character, it could be something very similar to Claire and Barry in Revelations 2, something like that. So for me personally, if they ever made Revelations 3, it should be Leon and Ada, and maybe throw in another side character. Then RE9 could be something like Chris, Jill, and Claire. Again, this all involves the main four, and I threw in Ada just because I didn't want to include any other side characters because I don't want this video to be super damn long. If you guys had to pick one of the main four to be in Resident Evil 9 or multiple, who would it be? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like on this video as it helps to reach the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more RA content in the near future. As always, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace out, and much love.